On, it says sharing is not turned on my end.
Regarding
because I have a slide.
Oh, you talking about
share the screen.
Share the screen.
Hold on, I got you.
Click on the button that says share. All right, somebody has to give me permission to share.
I got you.
There's a family here with the homeschooling. Can they get a
Who's hosting it? It's you, right?
to just talk about it?
Of course, yeah. I'm telling me good.
Right. It's you hosting it, right? You got the...
No, he's hosting it.
Oh,
Professor Griffith's hosting the meeting.
So let Griff know to pick Monique.
Yeah, pick. It says Monique. Give Monique permission to share if possible.
All permission.
All permission. Yes, give her. If you click on the name Monique, and there's like 3 dots on the upper right hand, that will give you the host options. Okay.
You can hear Griff?
I can briefly. So while we get that together, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you. Huh?
All right, I think it's gonna work.
I want to introduce you to a brother who is doing monumental work in our community. All right? This brother has to be highlighted based off of the work that he's doing. In my humble opinion, this is some of the most important work that our community needs right now, and that is raising our children. Okay? By a show of hands, how many people homeschool their children? By a show of hands, how many people have children? Okay? So the goal moving forward is to build institutions so our children can learn at the pace that we're learning at, right? So they can get this information at a very early age so they don't have to unlearn, so they can relearn. They can actually learn, and their programming will be power-based, okay, and solution-based and whatnot. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you our good brother, none other than Q Butter in the building. Q Butter in the building. Clap it up, y'all. Clap it up for Q Butter in the building. Come on through, King. Turn yours off.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Black power.
Only power we know. What's up, Black Fanny? How are we doing? My name is Brother Q Butter. I am the founder of Zyx, the movement, Zyx Institute. We have a program that services Black children only nationally. We just expanded to a really large location. Really excited about that in Brownsville, Junius, over about 3,000 square feet, and the overarching space has 10,000 square feet. So we'll be able to do immense amount of stuff in the location. And I also, on top of that, we also got a location in North Carolina, Kinston, North Carolina, over 30,000 square feet in North Carolina.
Yes.
And we also have the hybrid online portion as well. So our goal this year is to we're trying to get to 300 students enrolled nationally. We're introducing one of the first environmental research programs dedicated to getting Black students into research. We just partnered with another garden, the Brooklyn Land Trust Garden in Fort Greene. We have 8 gardens. We're going to be conducting pH research and using electrical engineering, computer science to introduce students to how to measure and monitor the actual pH and levels of soil. Right, my man over there? Yes, sir. And so I'm really excited about that. We also have automation technology research. We're introducing students to like material movement systems, autonomous vehicles, robotic arms, and things of that nature. And the goal is, of course, to push our students into STEM. The economic wealth gap, which we're all aware of, one of the greatest ways to attack it is through education and putting students into high fields, meaning high science fields, that will gain them high levels of employment or put them in a position where they can create businesses that get some high types of contracts. And so having the ability to have our community pushed into science in a qualitative way where,
Okay. Got you. Go ahead.
No.
Nah.
All right, cool. So I'm really excited about this. We have tons of space again in Brownsville and North Carolina. We're partnering with several colleges. We're introducing several means for students to get involved in the research. And my goal is to really push Black empowerment and make the idea of being a Pan-African Black nationalist in education something beyond what people are typically associated with. You know, nothing against playing drums or just daisikis, but we got to carry ourselves into the future in a way that's going to make us competitive and make us something that's going to be not just gainfully employed, but something that can strategically provide us with a means of sustainability. You know, it's a big challenge to say we want to create, you know, scientists and then they're going to work for somebody else. So the goal is to create an environment that we can sustain ourselves with. We produce students who are going to be gainfully employed. You come to our institute, we now have the data to be able to show you that we'll get your child out of high school 1 year earlier. They stay in our program, they will be involved in STEM. They will go into college, they will take SAT tests, they will take PSAT tests, they will get introduced to, like he does the STEM IEI class, we have a robust AI program, we have a robust coding program. It's not just me involved, we have electrical engineers, we have software engineers. We just partnered with there's a bedside garden.
The Bedside Garden. Heard about that.
Bedside Farm actually is partnering with us, and we're partnering with them. Hopefully we're going to be able to create a research facility there in their greenhouse. They have a USD approved greenhouse. And also in North Carolina, we're going to be doing this as well. So again, get involved. We have the only Black focused science fair almost in the country. And so we take students everywhere. So we do it twice a year, biannually. The next one is December 13th, and the 14th is the expo, where we expose students to Black professionals, researchers, scientists who are in the field. I just got the email back. We partnered with Nestle Professional chapter in New York City, so they're going to be providing speakers with us as well, with the researchers that we have that are going to be speaking, and the business professionals. So again, the goal is to just submerge our community into STEM. You know, I'm again a Black nationalist, Pan-African, and something that we didn't hear enough of is putting Black people in the face of STEM. You know, it's one thing to talk about guns, but we got a bunch of bullets made by white folks, guns made by white folks, and not enough mechanical engineers that can actually, make their own version of a weapon. And so this is something that we want to talk about, and being able to push ourselves into the future and guarantee that we have a place in the future. And that's what my institute is about. You know? So come out and support. We're in Junius, 350 Junior Street, and we're in 404. I forgot the exact address, in North Carolina, Kinston, North Carolina. But again, connect with us. Black power, Black power, Black power.
All right, y'all, clap it up for the good brother doing big things. You know what I'm talking about? Solution based. We had the opportunity to go to his new facility yesterday in Brownsville, and I am here to bear witness that it is a magnificent facility. The brother has upgraded and grown. Please, on the noise in the back, please. Let's keep the volume down. Thank you. The brother has grown exponentially, and we're very proud of him. Him and his team, him and his queen, him and his seeds, and the students who have been carrying Ziax Institute. Clap it up for my good brother Q Butter, and make sure that we support him, especially our brothers and sisters in New York area. For the ones that are still remaining out here that have the audacity to do the work, we are responsible for holding them up. You know what I mean? This is not an easy work. This is not an easy road. This is not a rewarding and an appreciative role. So the power is in the people, and those of us that are on the front line, we are depending on the people to support us, all right? That is why we wake up and do what we do every day. It is for y'all, it's for us, all right? So without any further ado, I wanna get into the presentation. My segment, my portion. We're going to take questions at the end of this, all right? Q&A and whatnot. So we'll be able to field any questions that anybody has. So as we know, or as we may not know, and we'll know now, during the trial, they exposed P. Diddy's alter ego as being Frank Black. By a show of hands, how many people are familiar with Frank White? All right. So Frank White is the figure in the movie, the cult classic Kings of New York. And then Biggie Smalls went ahead and he adapted that moniker as Frank White, all right? Frank Wizard, okay? So his twin, who was trying to be somewhat like him, right? P. Diddy, the one who they say usurped his power, happened to have a nickname that went by the name of Frank Black. All right. So let's move forward. Okay. And then we know that he's the one who termed the coin Black Excellence. And black people usually fell underneath his description of what Black Excellence was, but on the dictionary term, his face was Black Excellence. So they took down Black Excellence, they indicted Black Excellence, and they convicted Black Excellence. Nobody is having the conversation as to how do we redefine and repurpose Black Excellence, because Black Excellence has been exposed as Black Pestilence. Okay, in front of the whole world. It is a mighty blow to the image of the melanated man who agreed that P. Diddy was their quote-unquote ambassador.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm talking about? Not just for Ciroc and Diego, but for black youth, black culture, hip-hop as a face card. It's P. Diddy and it's Jay-Z. I don't know why it's not Nas. You know what I mean? Shout out to Jim Jones and whatnot, but Nas, you know, he is a very wise businessman. He was one of the early investors in Ring Camera. He was one of the early investors in Nest. He was one of the early investors in Lyft. He is a very, very wealthy angel investor. Although he doesn't rhyme about that, he doesn't rap about that. He keeps it very low key. But he is way more successful than individuals who basically brokered their brand to get in bed with spirit brands or marijuana. No disrespect to any of the vices and whatnot, but he's behind Ring Camera. Nas, like he was behind Ring. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? But they don't mention him in the quote unquote face of hip hop, even though in my humble opinion, he does beat out all three of the GOATs to be the GOAT, right? Of that era. But P. Diddy is the face. Yes, he is. He is. The metrics point him as the GOAT.
He also speaks at Harvard.
And he also lectures at Harvard, right? He does many different things that will qualify him as a 50-year-old poster child of what we aspire hip-hop to look like. Okay? We have been under certain illusions. Many of us have been in these barbershop arguments. Who's the best MCs and all of this stuff. You feel me? We've been a part of that. But as time goes on, there was a movie in Batman, there was a statement in the Batman movie where they say if you live long enough, you will witness your heroes turn into your villains, right? And they tell you to get off of the stage when you're in entertainment, when you're in Showtime or show business. They say if you stay on the stage too long, that's it. Right? Imagine somebody at a concert and you're like, yo, you want the 8th encore and you just won't get off the stage. Yes. Right? What will happen? The young boys are going to come out and start doing the Soulja Boy dance on you, and they're going to make you look like you're the old man on the stage because you didn't want to get off of the stage. So either the Sandman is going to remove you or somebody that has more energy, more talent, and a little more pizzazz will take your light, right? So now it's time for some of the older statesmen of the culture to exit stage left. And because they don't want to voluntarily get off of the stage, they are being removed. Okay? There's only a few standing that are left, right? Jay-Z dodged a bullet. He dodged a baby Frico. They tried to throw a Frico at him, and he was able to dodge that. However, don't get too excited because his quote-unquote, that was just a warning shot. That was just a little bit of a, you know how they were sending missiles over and it was just a little hint. You know what I mean? Get yourself together, get right, answer your phone because next time it's going to be a little more because remember, we got the Diddy tapes. So just think about the high level of blackmail that's taking place in Black Hollywood, Black entertainment for the remaining crumbs that they have left that wasn't already stolen from them. Imagine the level of blackmail that's going on, the emails and the phone calls that are being sent out. Hey, family, you all right? Yeah, well, guess what? Yes. We was in the home theater last night checking you and that gal that you was with on them Diddy tapes. How about you send a Zelle over here for about 10 million? Because we got Harvey over here from TMZ. He's thirsty. He's ready to leak it. I don't want to send it to academics, brother. Send that real quick. That's how they working people now. Like everybody mentioned, the trial mentioned no one. It had the jury saw the tapes, so the jury gonna have to get with the same people that did the sketches for P. Diddy and do a play-by-play on what they saw. You know what I mean? Because I don't think there was an NDA that was signed. You know what I mean? The most sought-after property in all of hip-hop is the Diddy tapes.
That's right.
I remember the calm before the storm with the R. Kelly tapes. I don't know if y'all remember that long.
Yep.
We was at the barber shop just chilling, waiting. You know what I mean? Because we knew it was going to drop. And it shook up the whole world. If the R. Kelly tape shook up the whole world, what are the Diddy tapes going to do? Next slide, please. What are the Diddy tapes going to do? So, there have many names and many alter egos for Sean Combs throughout the years and whatnot that many of us have been familiar with. Because it was in Showtime, we didn't realize what it is that we may have been witnessing and whatnot. We're not looking at the psychological aspects or the perspectives of a P. Diddy and whatnot with all of these name changes and all of these quote-unquote alter egos and all of these personas, right? Because names are personas. How many people know somebody named Killer in your hood?
That's right.
How many people know Black? Right? How many people know Killer Black? But his real name is Bartholomew. Right? His real name was Thompson. Right? He's Brandon. You know what I'm saying? Y'all used to go to the sandbox together. You like, wait a minute, that's Bartholomew. How is he Killer Black? Because he adapted a persona and an alter ego to when you summon Killer Black, he comes online and he will kill you. And he's black. But Brandon won't. If you summon Brandon, he won't get violent. He's a teddy bear. You know what I'm talking about? And Brandon will talk to you about back in the days when y'all used to watch Teletubbies together. But the minute you summon this quote-unquote alter ego, it comes online and this is who he becomes. There were talks in the trial, because everything that we'll be going to tonight is from the transcripts. We don't have to do rumors anymore. We're going to go to the facts. So Cassie said that there was a time when Diddy raped her and she looked in his eyes, and what were they?
Pitch black.
Pitch black. So Frankie Black has black eyes, y'all. How many people ever got attacked by somebody with black eyes? How many people ever encountered somebody that was possessed and they had black eyes? I have.
Yeah,
Right?
we could get there. On Thug's video.
Yeah. Oh, boom, 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 boom. Uncle Charles. Uncle Charles had the black eyes.
You feel me?
I think Tyler, the Creator, a few artists have done videos where they show the black eyes and whatnot. But black eyes speak of possessions. Okay? He was possessed by entities that were put into him through rituals where they go through your back door. Right? Crowley. How many people are familiar with Crowley sex rituals? Okay? That the whole OTO, the rituals that Hollywood adapted because of the influence of Aleister Crowley in what they call the quote-unquote age of free sex, right? During the 50s and the 60s, where the Europeans were exploring their sexuality and whatnot, and they went from these people who were just black and white. Remember, they used to wear the black suits? They all looked alike. They all looked the same. They wore the same suits. Like the TV show Mad Men would show you. They all had this quote-unquote Pleasantville type of, look. Then they began to experiment with LSD, shrooms, and other quote-unquote pharmacopoeia, but psychedelics and whatnot. Then they burst on the scene looking like hippies with all color. Remember that? And they began to grow their hair long, and they wanted to become what? Individuals. And then they explored their sexuality. That is what they call counterculture. Okay? And that was a humongous shift in America, socially, politically, and quote unquote culturally, right? So when they began to explore they have scholars like Friedrich Nietzsche, Carl Jung, right? Freud and whatnot, Sigmund Freud, and they are their master teachers. They are their, see how we have these books of our master teachers? Dr. Francis Cress Welsing was able to give us formulas that we carry throughout life, so we understand balls when we see it. We understand white fragility when we see it. Well, they have their scholars and they have their intellects who help them understand the psychology of them and other things. They teach through mythos, right? The Greek mythos and whatnot. That is their parables. That's how they teach. That's their quote unquote. The moral of the story is they teach through Dr. Seuss, right? So these personas that we were familiar with, no Diddy, right? That is a saying when instead of saying no homo, it's no Diddy now, right? Then it was the Diddler, which is like the Riddler and whatnot. Then it was Puff Daddy. That's his first persona that he popped out with. But how many people are familiar with Puff the Magic Dragon?
Right.
This is when he was casting his spells, when he was Puff the Magic Dragon, when he was Puff Daddy. He was casting his spell over the people and indoctrinating them. Remember, we're dealing with a high source, a high level scorpion in Sean Diddy Combs, who is a scorpion, who has very, very deep, dark scorpionic powers and whatnot, who is obviously activated through trauma and some type of other programming through his earlier years. And it's been speculated that he might have come across some killer priests in his Catholic school. Literally. All right, so we have Diddy Epstein. That goes without saying. But then we have Brother Love. So he had people calling him Brother Love, but there wasn't a lot of love in him.
Well, was some brotherly love going on.
There was some brotherly love, but not the way that you thought. P. Diddy and then Puffy, right? Ayo. Next slide, please. So his shadow self is Frank Black, right? So all of these names are public names, right? But he has a private name. He has a shadow self. Right? So how many people, y'all ain't gonna admit that y'all got secret names and whatnot. But yeah, your bae knows. She knows about Teddy Ruxpin. You understand? You know what I mean? And you know your lady's trigger name. You know her secret name. You know her private name. You know her activation name. And everybody can't know that name. Because if one of her work husbands call your phone one day and be like, I'm looking for strawberry shortcake. You be like, damn. If he knows that name, then everything that he says is true. Because only I know about strawberry shortcake. That's my secret name for her. So Frank Black is his secret name, right? It's his secret name. His public names are known by the public, but then he also has a private name, but then he also has a secret name.
Like a white pope and a black pope.
Like the white pope and the black pope. Like when we were coming up, my dad would give us a password. So if anybody ever came to pick us up, or if anybody ever knocked on the door and whatnot, or if anybody ever had us try to go with them, they had to say the password. Absolutely. You remember the password, Blue? Give it up for Blue Pill in the building, y'all. We gotta acknowledge the Blue Pill in the building and his beautiful wife, Blue Dreams.
Yes.
But the password was Dizzy Gillespie, right? So if nobody knew that, then we would not be able to even talk to them.
W Dad. W's in the chat for Dad.
W for the dad.
And I gave my children all, like if they went to somebody's house.
Right.
And they asked me, Dad, how's the cat? Well, we don't have no goddamn cat. And so that means it's on and popping. That means it's no questions asked.
Right.
I'm showing up and it's on site. And so these are things you have to do early on to put your children into your own little secret society, your own little circle of trust. Because it's dangerous out here.
Yeah. Diddler and 6 other nicknames. The Diddy trial revealed Diddy's nickname is Frank Black, the new persona unlocked. Next slide. Frank Black was his freak-off alter ego. In Scorpionic terms, it's his Tyler Durden, an imaginary figure, his demiurge, his shadow self, his alter ego that uses all forms of chaos magic to manifest thoughts, wants, needs, urges, and appetites. Now, it depends on your level of depravity.
Yes.
It depends on your level. How deep in the quote unquote dark hole are you, as whatever your sign may be? How deep do you go? His magic or whatever he does, remember, as a Scorpio, whose sign rules what? Sex, money, murder. That is what the Scorpio represents. So the fact that he's being implicated for murder, you know he's about his money because he ushered in all about the Benjamins, and we've just been introduced to his proclivities through his trial, versus you reading his lyrics on Genius, because everything is in his lyrics already. But if you don't want to believe that part, you got court documents now to back up what it is, and he's just showing you he is a true Scorpio. Next slide. In Fight Club, Tyler Durden is revealed to be the hallucinated alter ego of the unnamed narrator, a psychological projection of everything the narrator represses: aggression, confidence, charisma, freedom, and rebellion. So once again, we're going to get into the psychology of this trial and how everybody got programmed, because you're looking at mirrors and whatnot, and you're watching something and you're projecting and whatnot. People are online deflecting and projecting when they got shown a mirror of their shadow that they don't want to accept, and they want to act like Diddy is the one to get on the cross when everybody is basically going through some of the similar same things. As we progress, we will take we will demonstrate, and we will qualify that statement that was being made, because I am not judging anybody, nor am I trying to thrust judgment onto anyone. However, I want to just speak on some things that are being glossed over in this whole quote unquote trial, right? So there's personas, there's alter egos that people sink into in when they are in the act of quote unquote fornication, right? Fornication, copulation, what they would call intercourse, right? There may be somebody who channels Dirk Diggler before they get busy, because they want to be a quote unquote, they want to be an adult star, right? There may be people who channel Roman Polanski with Nicki Minaj. She might channel Roman Polanski before she has some type of intercourse, because of the type of intercourse that she wants to have. She had a hashtag called Gag City. What do you think that's about, right? So I'm just saying that people are being programmed just through media, through your music, through these movies, through Family Guy, through The Simpsons, through cartoons, through video games, through all type of media that's being sold to you. If you're familiar with Edward Bernays in A Century of the Self, he says that advertisement was programmed to speak to your lower self, not your higher self. And they deemed that as the way to sell to people by projecting women wearing bikinis, drinking beer. That don't even go together. But here it is. I'm at the store talking about, give me a six pack, because I'm thinking boobs. Right? So we're going to utilize the juxtaposition of Tyler Durden, because this is Fight Club, right? What is Diddy going to jail for? Fight Club, beating up Cassie, right? That's the whole thing. The whole thing to set it off was the fact that we found out this nigga's in Fight Club. And he likes to beat on his women, right? So, key facts. Tyler emerges during sleep, disassociation, and crisis. What was Diddy known for? What was his whole thing? He said that he doesn't sleep.
He don't sleep. Sleep ever.
He said he don't sleep. He takes naps, right? In the court transcripts, they said that the orgies were 5 days, y'all.
Yeah.
12 hours.
Yeah.
What was his supplement mix? Like, what type of products is he on? Right? Sheer boogerism. That's when he was running off the fumes of sheer boogerism and iniquity. That was his battery. He was on demon time. And he was on all type of pharmacopoeia to bring him into this deprived state of BDSM, because that's what he was into, dominatrix, BDSM, kinks and all type of things and whatnot. And from the looks of it, his kinks just progressed on and on and on and on, because they didn't talk about all of the freak-offs.
No. They kept most of that.
They didn't talk about David Geffen. They didn't talk about Clive Davis at the party. They didn't talk about Doug Morris pulling up. They didn't talk about Mike Rubin pulling up and hollering at the Punisher, right? They only talked about male prostitutes,
Right.
and his exploits that he had with his quote-unquote, what he would call his sex slaves. Because that's what they were, right? So in the movie Fight Club, he has a sex slave. He has a woman that allows him to dominate and do certain things to him, and Tyler Durden that we're talking about, right? So Sean Combs, right, has an alter ego. You see it when he's in the videos dancing. You see it when he getting dressed up and whatnot, and he's giving you this role and whatnot. That's what it is that we're seeing, okay? And that's the person that was in these freak-offs and these orgies and whatnot that was out here, doing what he was doing. Because I would say traumatizing women, but there is a question as if these women were a part of the Fight Club too.
Yeah.
Because the Fight Club is not gender-based. It's not. It's not gender-based. It's about what are you willing to do?
Are you willing to take this?
What are you willing to take to get what it is that you willing to that you want? Next slide. Take that.
Take that.
Gives a whole meaning to take that, take that, take that. So P. Diddy is the Dark Knight, right? P. Diddy is the Dark Knight. You remember when he dressed up like this? So once again, his alter egos were on full display, because he was not only the Dark Knight, but he was also the Joker. Next slide, please.
And that was right before the video came out.
Right? So P. Diddy gave you multiple personas, and he lived through every single one of them. Okay? He was the Dark Knight, a billionaire who inherited Gotham City as the king, got the key to the city. He's like Bruce Wayne. He's like a philanthropist. He's giving you voter die, and he's jogging the marathon. He got the mohawk, and you know what I'm talking about? He's stepping out with Cassie. He's at the Met Gala.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire. He got multiple properties. He got toys and whatnot, but he's also the Joker. There's rumors about him being psychotic. He's throwing shit, you know what I mean? He's scaring people. All people are dying all around him. Look, Griff, you name a few people. What? I'm going to add on. Heavy D died of a heart attack.
Yes.
Andre Harrell died of a heart attack. Kim Porter died of pneumonia. We got a list of people. Craig Mack.
Yes.
Recent.
These are recent bodies.
What about Black Rob? What happened?
Black Rob.
Yes.
So when you understand attachments, when you understand demonic entities, how they work, when you understand what contracts really are, when you get people John Hancock and you put them in a jar and you cook them, you spirit cook them, and you do all type of things over the paperwork, man, this man is a soul eater. He's a soul eater and he's a spirit cooker. And he sacrifices multiple lives in order to have his 9 lives. Because he just survived it again.
Yes.
Unless they throw something new on him, he out in the summer to be with Big Meech for the welcome home party. Next slide. Carl Jung. Carl Jung believed every human has parts of the psyche we suppress. That is the shadow. The shadow is a moral problem that challenges the whole ego personality. No one can become conscious of the shadow without considerable moral effort. Jungian mechanics of alter ego. Your ego, the ego is your conscious self. The shadow contains repressed urges, trauma, and desire. The persona is the social mask that we wear. Alter egos emerge when shadow and persona split. How many people have seen alter ego, the rise of alter egos in social media?
Yep.
Where people are now showing you their private life. Whereas before it was only their public mask. But then I go into the goddamn description and she got a link to the OF.
Yes.
And I'm introduced into her private life. Right? Shit that I wasn't even asking for. Now I know your proclivities, ma'am. And you're in a public space, mind you. You're not in private, you're in public. And you're giving me, and then I'm introduced to an artist named Sexy Red. And right out the gate, her first single was about her private life. She was telling you the color of her private parts. She's giving you her private. She's leading with the private, not with the public. She's not wearing a mask. Her public persona is her private life. That's what social media has become. We're dealing with a level of psychosis never seen before. So in a minute, people are going to be revealing their secrets for a few dollars. Oh, too late. They're already doing that. How people summon their alter egos? Through ritual, meditation, invocation, and what? Performance. So people tap into their alter ego through performance, sexual performance. You can tap into your alter ego through your performance. Like I said, you could go from, what's my dude name? Urkel to Stefan Diggs.
Yeah.
In performance. You could go from regular Michael to Michael Jordan in performance. You could go from regular Michael to Mike Tyson in performance. You're channeling. You're becoming that persona. Mike Tyson said, I would turn into a monster right before my fights. And that's who they were facing. But I would have to turn the Hulk off. After the fight, that's the video in Vegas when all of the police get tossed around. He's Red Hulk at that point. He didn't turn it off. So in crisis, alter egos come online. In crisis. Henceforth, why people who've been through multiple traumas have split personalities and multiple alter egos. So trauma, grief, and rage. In trance, art, dance, hypnosis, and dreaming. Young believed that you could dialogue with these entities via active imagination, drawing, or even giving them names. So P. Diddy in the corner with a burqa on, masturbating with astral glides while his lady or his woman is being dominated and whatnot, and he's going into trance. He's going into alternate egos. But he's not a regular man. He's the father in the head of your culture. So he's throwing things at the culture as he's bringing them up in quote-unquote rituals. And somebody asks, are people affected by P. Diddy? Man. This is how Tyler is born. Not just mentally, but archetypically. He is the warrior / trickster / destroyer archetypes fused together. That's who Tyler Durden is. That's who P. Diddy is. Next slide. Nietzsche, right? Friedrich Nietzsche. By a show of hands, how many people were taught Friedrich Nietzsche in school? That is a requirement. If you don't know who Friedrich Nietzsche is, please make it your business to go ahead and do a deep dive on him. If you ever want to understand Caucasians from the Nordic, if you ever want to understand Caucasians from the Caucasus Mountains, if you ever want to understand the German, right, who is the largest nationality of European in the North America, you have to study who they are learning from. You got to study their master teachers, bro. So you'll understand why they move the way that they move. If you want to understand Donald Trump, who is the a poster child of a German, study Nietzsche. When Donald Trump popped out in the inauguration and said that he's ushering in the golden age, that was code word for the Ubermensch. that he was bringing the European man into the era of the Ubermensch, something that Hitler tried to do. The Ubermensch is the Superman. The Ubermensch is the blonde-haired, blue-eyed archetype of the great white hope. That is the Ubermensch, is Jake Paul. Okay? And that is what Jake Paul, that is what, what's all of those, the podcast bros in them, Theo Vaughn, Andrew Tate, Jake Paul, Joe Rogan, all of them represent the Ubermensch. All of them represent the coming forth of the European man into a new age, into a new era. That's what all of the, Jeff Bezos got married the other day, right? And he got swag now. And Mark Zuckerberg got a goddamn goatee, my nigga. Oh,
And that's why Jake Paul
had to ritually defeat Mike Tyson.
Right.
In that song and in that dance. That's what that was.
That's what that was all about.
Under that moon and things of that nature.
Right. To inaugurate and to usher in that, Mike Tyson probably got $100 million to take the fall. He got paid handsomely. You don't hear from him. You don't see him. He's still counting that money, right? But it was a ritual to bring in, that was right after Trump won. That was a ritual to usher in this new era of masculinity. Blue Pill calls it MAGA masculinity. They are attempting to move forward with the Ubermensch. And when they make an announcement that they defeated death and they're able to live to 500 and they've achieved transhumanism, you really gonna watch how they gonna let their quote unquote nuts hang. You think they arrogant now, you think they pompous now, you think they acting tough now, and they're treating you and they're giving us their quote unquote backside to kiss and whatnot. Wait till they defeat death with their technology and their AI. Wait till they're able to reverse aging. For real, for real. So this is who we're dealing with, right? Friedrich Nietzsche laid the philosophical foundation for what Tyler becomes. Key concepts: Ubermensch, which is overman or beyond man, the one who creates their own values beyond good and evil. Man is something that shall be overcome. What have you done to overcome him? Will to power, right? Will to power. That is what Donald Trump is showing you in real time that Barack Obama couldn't show you, right? He's showing his people, his demographics, the ones that voted for him and put all the trust and are ready to kill and ride and stand for him. He's giving them the will to power. He's standing up and like, F that. We willing this shit into existence. 500 million from you, 500 billion from you, 1 trillion from you. Let's go. We renaming these coasts, the Gulf of America. We taking this, we stopping the beef over here so we could take their minerals. Let's go. That's what he's showing. So his base is getting charged up, right? Project 2025 is in full effect. Everything is a touchdown. He passed the big, beautiful bill. How many people know what that is by a show of hands? While we were distracted by P. Diddy and all of that other shenanigans, they passed a quote unquote a bill that's going to change everything.
Yes.
And we got to get our SHIT together. I have to be mindful of my language because there are youth in the audience, and I apologize for any profanity, but we got to get our act together because the ancestors ain't playing with us. Forget them, they're nothing. It's the ancestors that they not playing with us. They watching us let things happen on their watch, and they're not pleased with it. Okay, so will to power, the fundamental force of life, not survival, but expansion, domination, and transformation. Did he not say that we are going to go forward and manifest destiny at the inauguration? And we call it MAGAfest Destiny. He said that we're going into our golden age. We're going to Mars. So they're talking about expansion. They're talking about pure domination. And they're talking about transformation from being European men with no will to live, with a negative birth rate, to being the majority population after depopulation. And they're going to be trillionaires, and they're going to be lit and living in their utopia if they have it their way. Master versus slave morality. Tyler embodies master morality. This is P. Diddy. Raw, instinctual, amoral force. Raw, instinctual, amoral force. Right? There's the video. Bring it back. where he gets off the phone and he's throwing the phone and he's like, I could do anything. Ah! That's that raw, primal, amoral force that he's exhibiting. The narrator begins in slave morality, guilt, conformity, shame. In the movie The Fight Club, the narrator, who's played by Edward Norton, he's in slave mentality. He is considered to be Mr. Anderson. It's the same movie. It's the same exact movie. The Matrix with Mr. Anderson, and he turns into Neo. He becomes the Ubermensch. He becomes Tyler Durden. He becomes the machismo version of himself, his God self, his higher self, his quote unquote beyond man, his overman. That's who Neo is. Who is Mr. Anderson? I'm just a regular 9-to-5er. Right. I'm on the internet hustling. That he started out, he was jugging on the dark web. That's what he was doing. He was finessing shit.
Right.
Excuse me. He was selling drugs on the dark web. He had a side hustle. He was just trying to get by, but he was Mr. Anderson. He was in a slave role. Many of us, before we took our red pill, can we raise our hands if we identified that we was in our slave role before we woke up and we took the red pill on our way to becoming Neo? How many people can agree to that? I was in my slave. I was in my lower self. I was crawling on my belly. I was considered to be an 85er. I was dumb, deaf, and blind. I was living in hell on earth. And the things that were happening to me and the decisions that I was making was a result of that. But when I took the red pill and I decided that I was going to change things around, whatever the challenges were not about being in hell. It was about the challenges that you have to get out of hell. You don't think you're climbing up the rungs of the ladder to get out of hell? You don't think that these challenges that you go through when you become conscious, that everybody, oh, please give me a hug, beloved. I'm going through it. We all are. We all are. That's why we signed up to this thing. It's not a walk in the park. It's an obstacle course. All right, Tyler becomes the narrator's Ubermensch projection, forged in chaos and collapse. He represents freedom through destruction, a Nietzschean phoenix. That's what people do when they go on Facebook and they go from, your name was Adam Clayton McDonald, right? Now you are Abdullah, Tahuti, Ma'at, Sekhmet, Al-Marakian Bey the third. You know what I'm talking about? You're projecting your Ubermensch. You're becoming God in real time. And 5 out of 10 people will fall into that persona and become it. And the other 5 won't. But that's what we're watching. We watch people come into our community and self-anoint themselves or be given a persona or a title, and they grew into that title. Or they grew into that quote-unquote skin or that shoe that they fit. Next slide, please. All right, so Sean Diddy Combs covered his face with what Muslim women wear during freak-offs, says an exotic dancer in the Bombshell trial. So he was in full character, right? He wasn't hiding, he was in character, right? Whatever that persona was, it had an outfit and it was a burqa, all right? Summoning the altar in real life. People summon alter egos to perform different tasks, consciously or not. Modern forms. Artists adopt stage personas, right? Sasha Fierce, Slim Shady, MF Doom. Mystics invoke spirits or guides through sigils or trance. Athletes enter a zone when another self takes over. Trauma survivors create disassociative selves to cope. Hal Young suggested doing this. Active imagination, a method of speaking directly to internal figures. By a show of hand, how many people do that?
I do.
I do. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not
skilled at it.
I am a professional in that.
I am.
Right? Create a ritual space. Speak or write as the alter. Allow it to speak back. Integrate through symbol, dream, or myth. I could probably say, after coming off of Stone Mountain last strong in, that about 85% of us do that. That's our calling card. We're able to have walking meditations. We live in multiple dimensions. You know what I'm talking about? We're channeling multiple entities and beings at once. Next slide. Tyler Durden as the God of destruction and liberation, right? Tyler is more than a figment. He is a daemon, a servitor, a modern egregor, occult interpretation, created through focus, belief, and emotional energy, gains autonomy, as in chaos magic servitor theory, acts as a threshold guardian between the ego and transformation, right? Young Shadow. He is Young Shadow, demanding integration. He is Nietzsche's Ubermensch, demanding rebirth. He is a magical construct, demanding sacrifice. The only altar we've lost everything that we free to do anything. He said, Tyler Durden said, it's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. Sean Combs comes home a free man. He lost everything, but now he's free to do anything. If he wanted to get into the corn industry, he would take off. If he wanted to get into any type of adult entertainment, he could take off. If he wanted to do freak off white party, weekend retreats. Once he embraces his shadow, he's free. If he fights it, that's on him. But that time that he's spending in purgatory, in the underworld, like all caterpillars do before they come butterflies, don't count them out, man. I'm a Scorpio. I'm here to let you know that one of our cheat codes is rebirth, resurrection, rebranding, phoenix type of energy. Don't count them out. Next slide. Former CIA speaks on public, private, and secret lives of subjects, which would be called assets, right? There's a European, I didn't put the video up because I didn't know if we was going to be showing video, but there's a white dude and he's former CIA. He's all over the podcast world. You could literally Google this. So if you can hear him talk about it. But he talks about what the Central Intelligence Agency looks for when they're surveilling you, right? What the Federal Bureau of Investigation is into. They're fully aware of the fact that, you know, you have a mask that you wear and you're not telling the public who you really are. So what do? There's four of you. They're aware of three personas of you. Your public life, your private life, and your secret life. Henceforth, why they bug and they tap and they surveil everything. Former CIA speaks on public, private, secret lives of subjects. All right, so public life. How do individuals present themselves? Private life. What is known by close friends and family? Secret life. Thoughts, vulnerabilities, and secrets not shared with others, often due to fear of judgment. There's a bunch of stories going around of men specifically who wives discovered that they were on DL and they killed them.
Yes.
It's a slew of those stories popping up, especially during COVID, where a lot of secret shit came out because people were at home. They were locked in and whatnot. There's a lot of those stories. People will kill to protect their secret self because that's not their private life. That's their secret life. Thoughts, vulnerabilities, and secrets not shared with others, often due to fear of judgment. There's stories of men who have their sneaky links and whatnot. Sneaky link becoming pregnant, they put hits out on them. There's stories of women putting hits out on men that they don't want the world to find out that they were being infidelity. They were cheating on their husband with their quote unquote boy toys and whatnot. And they're paying hitmen to get them unalived and whatnot. But these hitmen are working as undercovers on the dark web. It's a lot of those stories. Key points: intelligence gathering. Intelligence officers use this understanding to access an individual's secret life. They aim to move beyond the public persona to discover the deepest thoughts and motivations. This involves building trust to access the private sphere, then the secret one. So if you don't think that they send a hottie or a thottie to go and sleep with you and to swallow you, right? You know what I'm talking about? If you don't think that they sending eaters after you, then you don't know how the government works. They have to find out your private life. They have, so these bars that they set up in New Brooklyn, Blended Brooklyn, where y'all chilling with the Nordics and whatnot, drinking Scheissmeister, Jagermeisters and everything, right? Because they compromise you in their settings. Henceforth, why everywhere that they go have to be a bar and a bub. Because when you're in a bar and a bub and you're drinking, you're off. They're on assignment.
Yep.
They're like, we know who the asset is. You know what I'm talking about? So they're compromising a lot of our peoples inside of bars and bubs and whatnot. And they're like, yo, tell me a little bit about your neighbor that you live across that plays all of that rap music while they're laying up with their asset.
Yep.
She's giving him information. They're opening up more surveillance on you. While you go to work, they break into your apartment, bug it up and everything. But they're laying up with your neighbor with the cats and whatnot, who was looking for a Snow King because she used to watch soap operas.
And remember, you're snitching on yourself through social media
Every day.
Right.
So every day, the more information you feed into, you are now doing the work of the CIA and FBI. They create a psychoanalysis of yourself based on all of the information you input.
Right, a dossier.
And that's enough for them to find out if they're coming after you with a woman, a little boy,
right.
or alcohol, whatever it is. You're actually telling on yourself.
Right. So, significant information can be revealed once the secret life is revealed. And can we move that over a little bit? I'm sorry. Just move, yeah. All right. Significant information can be revealed once within the secret life. Individuals may share sensitive information, often due to a desire to confide in someone they trust. So you got to be careful with some of the people that are coming in the community that are you're confiding in, that you're giving all of your private information. You get one tarot reading, then it's like, well, I had to tell you about this person I killed before. You know what I'm saying? Wider applications. Understanding these layers of human psychology can be useful for better communication and stronger relationships. Example, a former CIA officer describes how the individual might reveal private concerns or even more sensitive secrets once a trusting relationship has been established and they feel that they are in a secret life sphere with the interrogator. So Vlad is an interrogator. Adam 22 is an interrogator. Trap Lord Ross is an interrogator. All of those weird dudes that are faceless on YouTube where they sound like Poindexters and they're interviewing killers and gangsters, all of them have been trained in interrogation and debriefing. So they actually know how to get into your private life based off of 21 questions. Okay? And people are falling for it because they're not quote unquote savvy enough to withstand interrogation, right? That's something that you have to learn. Counter interrogation or counter insurgency skills. Next slide, please. So I said, okay, so big tech is now the world's largest spy agency and data collection operation of its citizens, only second to communist China, right? So spoofs infiltrated Silicon Valley. Facebook is riddled with ex-CIA. All of the quote unquote big tech is all CIA. So that is their surveillance quote unquote apparatus. That is how they're watching. That is how they're surveilling. That is how they're keeping tabs. Next slide, please. Dark tetrad versus dark triad. How many people are familiar with dark tetrad and dark triad? These are all personality of people that we all know. Next slide, please. This is Tyler Durden. This is the Fight Club. right? Dark versus light. This is the dark tetrad. It's narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. How many people can relate? Who knows them?
Yep.
Who knows people who are suffering from that? Who knows people who is in a relationship with something? Let me not go there. So dark pentagram, deceit, sadism, right? Psychopathy, right? Am I pronouncing that right? Psychopathy or psychopathy? Psychopathy, right? Dark triad personality. So this is the dark triad personality. If you hear these personalities, I want you to take an immediate beeline to all of the movies that are out right now. The majority of the shows on Netflix, the majority of the shows on TV, go right to the character that you've been introduced to in the last 10 years. Let's go into the personalities. Narcissism. Psychopathy. Machiavellianism. Right? And then think about movies like Venom. Think about TV shows like Family Guy, American Dad, right? Where they're giving you characters. Think about Bart Simpson. Think about all of the villains. Never before was villains the leads in the movies before. Think about the TV show The Boys on Amazon. Think about Superman versus Batman, Dark Knight. Think about the Joker having his own movie. So in society, they're making the villain or the anti-hero the quote-unquote object of desire. So they are low-key programming society to pick up on the traits of the dark tetrad and the dark triad. They're making us narcissists. They're making us Machiavellian in our nature and whatnot. They're making us psychopaths through entertainment, through programming, through training. We're rooting for the bad guy, right? We're not looking at the hero anymore as the desired quote-unquote archetype. We're looking at the anti-hero. So the president is an anti-hero. Congress is an anti-hero. Elon Musk is an anti-hero. Peter Thiel is an anti-hero. Vladimir Putin. All of these people are dark tetrad, dark triad traits. American psychos. So how does the people get affected by that? You're not safe. It's all around you. So the aspect of us being dehumanized, desensitized, it's affecting our mental health. Look at the train system. Look at the streets of New York. Look at the streets of